Welcome to the 2016 AP Statistics FRQ exam. In this video, we're going to focus on question number 3, explaining all of the answers. It's a great question dealing with experimental/observational studies and collecting data and the do's and don'ts. So before we dive into it, please like and subscribe as well. I'd appreciate it. All right, here is the problem. Alzheimer's disease results in a loss of cognitive ability beyond what was expected with typical aging. A local newspaper published an article with the following headline: "Study finds strong association between smoking and Alzheimer's." The article reported that a study tracked the medical histories of 21,123 men and women for 23 years. The article stated that for those who smoked at least 2 packs of cigarettes a day, the risk of developing Alzheimer's disease was 2.57 times the risk for those who did not smoke. All right, this question had 3 different parts. Let's look at them one at a time. So part A was simply to identify the explanatory and response variable in the study. So the explanatory variable is the variable that is the independent variable. It's the variable that does the explaining. The response is the variable that is impacted because of that explanatory variable. So the response is the dependent variable. So the explanatory variable here would be a person's degree of smoking, right? The final conclusion was that smoking has an association with Alzheimer's. So a person's degree of smoking cigarettes would be considered the explanatory variable. Now, the only level that was brought up in this short description was at least 2 packs a day, but maybe they looked at people that never smoked, people that smoked 1 pack a day, people that occasionally smoked, people that smoked 1.5 packs a day. You know, who knows how many actual levels they looked at, but they probably did some analysis of that. But the degree of which a person smokes cigarettes would be the explanatory variable. The response variable is whether or not a person developed Alzheimer's disease during the study. So that what they were looking at the end was, did smoking have an impact on Alzheimer's disease? So smoking, explanatory variable, developing Alzheimer's disease is the response variable. Be careful. A lot of kids will think, oh, I know the answer. They'll just put one word, smoking, one word, Alzheimer's. Please make sure you write in full sentences and do a little bit of describing in terms of what these variables are. Don't just put one-word answers. All right, part B says, is this study described in the article observational or experiment? So first let me read my answer. I'll talk a little bit about it here. But the study described is an observational study. Researchers did not give out treatments to the individuals that they observed. No one was instructed to smoke or not to smoke. The degree at which people in the study smoked cigarettes was simply observed and recorded, not manipulated by the researchers. So remember, one of the key things in an experiment is control, where people have to be given something to do. They are manipulated. They are told to do this every day for a month or not to do this. This was not done here at all. They simply looked at a large group of people, 21,000 or some people, men and women, and they just followed them for 23 years, and maybe they asked them or simply recorded how much they smoked, how much they didn't smoke, and at the end they looked if they developed Alzheimer's disease or not. But they did not give out anything to the people. The 21,000 people were not split into groups where one group was told to do this, another group was told to do that. So this was purely an observational study, which is why that headline did not say smoking causes Alzheimer's disease, because only in an experiment, a very good experiment, where everything is met, all the key aspects, can we even begin to use that word cause. But in an observational study, we could certainly look for relationships and associations. All right, final question. Exercise, regular weekly exercise versus no regular weekly exercise, was mentioned in the article as a possible confounding variable. Explain how exercise status could be a confounding variable in this study. So first, it's important to make sure you understand the definition of a confounding variable. A confounding variable is one that is related to the explanatory variable and possibly has an impact on the response variable as well. So a true confounding variable is one that we could somehow relate to both the explanatory and the response. Now, why is that true for exercise? Because it would make complete sense that people who exercise more often care more about their health and therefore would be more likely to not smoke. If I'm like, hey, I'm going to go and exercise a couple times a week, I'm probably not going to, I obviously care about my body. I'm not going to go ahead and start smoking. So there's definitely a relationship there. And it's also possible that exercising more often can help reduce the likelihood of developing Alzheimer's disease. So if you keep your body active, you keep your mind active, and that could actually create Alzheimer's disease from developing. Now, I'm not 100% sure if any of that is true, but I could definitely link this idea of exercising to both why I would smoke or not smoke and why I could or not develop Alzheimer's disease. So if these facts are true, then smoking cigarettes would be associated to Alzheimer's disease, but through the association that both variables have with exercise. And that's a confounding variable, is that, hey, we're saying that X has an impact on Y, but maybe there's this other variable Z that's actually running the whole show, impacting both X and Y. So that's exactly what exercise can be doing here in this problem. All right, that's it for this question. Oftentimes, one of these 6 FRQs on the AP Statistics exam is going to be related to collecting data through observational experimental studies. And it's actually usually one of the easier questions. There's no math needs to be done, just a lot of really good explaining, full sentences, deep dive into the context of the question. Don't be lazy on these problems. These should be the easy ones, so don't be lazy on them. All right, that's my advice. Good luck. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe and like.